right, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another edition of our Executive Insights podcast, sponsored by iGlobal University School of Business. My name is Dr. Mark Robinson. I'll be your host and facilitator for today. And the purpose of our Executive Insights podcast is to provide some inspiration to our School of Business students. And today I'm very pleased and honored that a dear friend and a successful colleague in the world of pharmaceuticals has decided to join us today. So welcome, Lisa Shipley.
Great to be here, Mark.
Thank you so much for doing this. So I know you've worked at some big organizations throughout your career, Eli Lilly and Merck, which are pharmaceutical companies. And we sort of wanted to trace your history from your beginnings at the University of Maryland, your PhD in pharmacology. But I wanted to start off by asking you what sort of got you into the idea of pharmaceuticals, or was it by chance, or was there a career plan there?
So I've always wanted to be a scientist. I mean, ever since I was a little girl, I was always interested in science, and so I started, pursuing that as even in my undergrad. Obviously, I have a BA from McDaniel College, formerly known as Western Maryland College, but McDaniel College in Westminster, Maryland. And during that, I was doing some work in some contract labs during the summer, and it really became very clear to me that if I wanted to actually kind of lead the research that I was doing, I was going to need to get an advanced degree. So that took me to the University of Maryland at Baltimore. And as you said, I got a PhD in pharmacology and toxicology. And I'm a very practical person. And so I really wanted to see that science have some practical use. And there's no better place than working in the pharmaceutical industry, because you get an opportunity to really impact, patients' lives by, bringing, novel therapies for unmet medical need forward. So it was kind of that practicality piece. And I did a postdoc at Walter Reed Army Institute of Research. I was a national research fellow there, where we were actually kind of doing research for the soldiers, I guess as their mantra. But they were working on, they were really doing kind of drug development on a very small scale. And that also got me very much interested in starting to look at, the industry. So when I finished my postdoc, I went on to Eli Lilly as started off as a senior pharmacologist, doing drug metabolism work. So, there's kind of two pieces of drug develop or pharmacology itself, the study of drugs. It's pharmacodynamics. What does the drug do to the body? And then there's pharmacokinetics. What does the body do to the drug? And that's the area that I have spent, a majority of my career in, looking at, how the body handles the drug so that we can set appropriate doses and safely administer drugs to patients. So that's a little bit long-winded, but that's kind of the history that brought me there. And then I was at Lilly for 20 years. The first 9 was at the bench. I was, very much a passionate bench scientist, and I'd been tapped a couple times to go into the management role, and kind of reluctantly went. But that's turned out to be a great career move for me as well. And then, Merck came knocking about 13, 14 years ago. And there was an opportunity to take on the leadership of the group there. So I made that change. And then one other twist along the way in there too is that about 3.5 years ago, I actually stepped out of the role that I was doing of leading this pharmacokinetics and pharmacodynamic group and drug metabolism group, to take on a role looking at how do we digitally enable clinical trials? Right. So I've been running created a group and ran the group for the last 3.5 years called Global Digital Analytics and Technologies. And like I said, our role there was to implement clinical trials with digital technologies in it, so that we could start to make things more objective and less subjective, right. And drive faster decisions on molecules.
Yeah, everything's based on data these days, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah. Data scientists ruled the world. So
That's true. That's very true.